Greetings. Welcome to the Arts and Culture Show. I am Sharinda Welton, your host, and we are excited to have with us today Mr. Larry DeVilvis from Toys for Tots. He is also a U.S. Marine and Santa Claus. Dun, da, da, da. Welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
And you guys have been really busy already this season.
Oh yeah, totally. It's been nonstop up at the North Pole. It's been nonstop with charitable organizations and other events around.
And let's talk about charitable organizations. I'm excited that the University of Findlay has been a part for many years. I think we were talking before the show began, Larry, that we started 16, 17 years ago hosting a Toys for Tots Christmas party on campus and toy drive.
Yes, ma'am.
And so with that, we've had the honor of having Santa fit us into his schedule a couple different times over the years. Not always because of how busy your schedule is, but
Yes.
We're excited that you were back this year. And in addition to the Toys for Tots and working with the U.S. Marines, you work with a couple of other nonprofit organizations that the focus and emphasis is children.
Yes.
Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. There's the Make-A-Wish Foundation. There is where I go and do just visits to hospitals and to children who are not well and can't get out to see me at locations that I might be at.
That is so sweet, and I'm glad that you're able to fit that into your schedule between making toys and checking who's naughty and nice. You're able to make these special appearances and bring a little joy and laughter and love to their lives.
And it can be any time of the year. If a child needs Christmas to happen in July, we'll make Christmas happen in July.
That's awesome. So, Larry, the Toys for Tots that happens here in Hancock County, how many years has that been going on?
This is our 29th year here in Hancock County.
That is amazing. And this is a branch, a smaller extension of a national program, is that correct?
Yes.
So could you tell us a little bit about the history of Toys for Tots on a national level? How did it start? What was the vision?
In 1947, a Major Hendricks, his wife made a doll, and she in turn gave that to him, and she said, you go find an organization where they can use this doll and give it to a child that needs a toy. And so he went out, and he was from the Los Angeles area with the Marine Reserves there. And so he went out, and there was no such organization out there.
Oh.
And although the Marine Corps is known for their toughness in battle, they also have another side to them, which is the tender side that we now take care of thousands and thousands of kids every year. And to the tune so far, in 60 years, the Marine Corps Reserve has done this. We've given away 330 million toys.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a great organization.
It is, and that is so special that these men and women who serve our country continue to serve after they come back in such a special way and seeing lives changed and inspired.
Indeed. You know, their whole philosophy is every child deserves a little Christmas, regardless of their circumstance. And so our only goal, is to make sure that everyone has, or every child has a toy under that tree on Christmas Day.
That's so special. And so locally, Hancock County, 29 years, there's not just one specific week that toys are collected. You, as an organization, start collecting late fall, correct?
Yes.
How does that work exactly?
Well, we pass out, there's over 120 businesses in Findlay right now that have drop-off boxes and have jars for donations. And then we set up at the mall every weekend. We stand at Walmart on Sundays all the way from the end of November till Christmas. and collect toys and donations. And we're so fortunate to live in such a community that gives as much as they do. Last year, we gave away a little over 9,000 toys here in Hancock County to some almost 2,000 children that needed toys.
Wow. And we don't think about that, do we?
No. And a toy to most of us doesn't mean a whole lot, but we think that to a child, Christmas means a nice new toy under that tree, and it gives them a sign of people caring and hope, that there is hope for them regardless of their situations.
And in addition to the businesses, there are other volunteer services, community groups that climb on board and help do fun little Christmas parties and toy drives, that everything that they gather comes back to you also, correct?
Yes.
So with the monies that are collected, I know questions have come in to me before. Does that money stay in the community? How does that work? And one of the things that founder Roger Neff for Hancock County had shared with me is that this money is collected, and then if there is an age range that's missing some toys that need to be purchased, the money's pulled out and a purchase is made so that all the children have the same amount of toys that's coming to them. Is that how that money's spent?
Yes, every penny that we raise in Hancock County is spent here in the county for toys. The foundation has a great theory on that. 97 cents out of every dollar is spent to buy toys. The rest of it, of course, is your little magnets and your coins and your giveaways. But 97 cents out of every dollar is given. None of us are paid for what we do.
Completely volunteer.
It's all volunteer work, and I have a great bunch of people that help me every year, as you have helped us for years here at the university. Yes.
And so when you mentioned magnets and the coins, could you tell us a little bit about the coin? Because the coin actually has a very special significance in the military, and a lot of people don't understand the camaraderie and the importance of a coin.
That's a challenge coin, and Marines carry a challenge coin with them at all times. If you would happen to go into a bar and sit down and put that coin on the table, the other Marines that you're sitting there with, if they don't have one of their coins, they have to buy a round of whatever you might be drinking.
Which could be root beer.
Yes, which could be Pepsi. But if every one of the Marines around the table has it, then the Marine that put the coin down on the table has to buy that round.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's another way of camaraderie and building relationships amongst your brothers and sisters in service also. So it's neat because I know that you handed me off a coin today, and I have a special collection of those that I keep, and I'm not going to go out and put them on a table at a bar, but when I look at those over the years, I think of the children that have been served and how we get to work as a community together and support the Marines. We do it through so many different opportunities and ways, but it's great to be able to stand side by side and celebrate with you, as we know you're making a difference in our community. So it's really special. I'm saying that word a lot today, but that's what Christmas is all about, right? Making a difference and investing in others' lives. Sometimes we don't know the difference we're making. So.
No. And our only recognition that we get is knowing on Christmas morning when we wake up that we put smiles on a lot of kids' faces that might not have had a smile on their face
and
if
on
we
their
hadn't been out
parents'
there.
faces.
Well,
Yeah.
we hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so.
Because you're taking a lot of stress and weight off of shoulders that carry some burdens sometimes that none of us will ever carry, and you're making a difference for them too, so that it's a little bit better for them on that day. So that's great.
Thank you.
With the donations, what is the goal? How many toys is your goal locally to give to each child?
We try to give out 4 toys per child, and because otherwise some of these children might not ever have a new toy, and so we strive to give out 4 per child.
And you collect for what age range?
We collect from infant all the way up to 15.
So that's quite a wide range.
Yes, yes, and we receive toys from the foundation, which always is nice toys, and then we go out and we purchase the toys that we need for different age groups.
If you don't
If we
collect
don't
enough
collect
in that
enough,
area.
yes.
Okay. And do you work solely alone in Hancock County, or do you partner with other organizations to make sure these children receive toys? How do the donation or the designations work here locally?
Our distribution is done mostly by Salvation Army, but we also have Chopin Hall, we have Hope House. This year we picked up Safi. We picked up one other one. I can't.
So, and then those organizations communicate amongst one another with the way the sign-up
Yes.
system is set up to
Yes.
make sure that everyone is fairly served, correct?
Yes.
And that's great, because I know that that's a challenge in larger communities sometimes of how do we get the toys out, how is it fair distribution? So it's wonderful that you're working with organizations that communicate amongst one another so well so that you can step in and hand them the toys and they can get them out and distribute them.
Yes, yes, and they do a nice job. They really do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and another question that I get sometimes is, why do you not want me to wrap my toy? Why, if somebody else has to do it, why do you not want me to do that and save you time? Could you explain the philosophy behind why they're unwrapped new toys?
Well, I think that leaves that to the parents, and that gives them the pleasure of knowing that they have toys to wrap for their children. We want to make sure that they're new, unwrapped toys when they come to us, and therefore, when we give them out, we know they're getting new toys.
Great. Thank you for explaining that. So, Santa.
Yes.
A lot of girls and boys know that you're watching them when they're little, but what they don't know is that sometimes you stay friends and keep track of us as we get older.
Always.
And you have a really good friend that's actually an alumni of the University of Findlay, named Ryan Gravett.
Ah, yes, yes.
He graduated 2006 from the university.
I believe so, yes.
And I have it under good authority that you have been keeping track of all the exciting things he's been doing that's tied to arts and culture.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. He's been doing lots of different Broadway show tours, and he currently works for a regional theater as the sound supervisor down there.
And where would that be?
It's the Olney Theater Center in Olney, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C.
How exciting. And so I know he graduated from here in 2006. Do you know what his major was?
I believe it was theater design and production.
So he has taken that and he has moved on and done Broadway, national touring companies, correct?
Correct.
And then has he been on some cruises?
Yes, I believe right out of, as soon as he left the university, he actually went and worked on a cruise ship.
And so he worked, he didn't get to take the cruise.
No.
So what did he do? What was his work on a cruise ship?
He handled all the sound for the bands and the shows and the random piano player.
And was one of the companies he worked with Disney?
Yes, I believe he did work at Walt Disney World.
Okay, and then with the ice skating, I know there was something about skating on a ship. What was that?
I believe they had an ice show, like the Ice Capades on the cruise ship that he was on.
Okay, and that was in Italy?
Yes, in the Mediterranean. What a gorgeous area.
Yeah, I can't.
Christmas Eve, it's gorgeous flying over.
I'm sure it is. I can't imagine being in Italy, the Mediterranean, and watching an ice skating show on a cruise ship. That sounds crazy to me, but fun.
I mean,
I'm not an
I get to
experienced
see the elves
cruiser.
ice skate every night. And so, you know.
Ah, yeah. Well, yes, you would. So, in addition to the cruise ships, and what Broadway shows has he worked?
I believe he worked on the national tour of Hair and Chicago the Musical.
Awesome. And I did get to visit him when he was on the tour with Chicago. He gave me a backstage pass and gave me the tour.
Wonderful.
And I wore all black, so I got to sit in the sound box with them. And one of the personalities from Columbus Television came up and asked me all the questions like I was working it. And I was so proud of myself, but it was Ryan's deal, and I just got to sit there. So that was pretty cool.
That's wonderful. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. And so in DC, Maryland area, what are some of the shows that are being produced right now?
Currently, they have a one-man Christmas Carol and a production of Annie that they're working on.
And I hear that somebody very famous, if people have followed the show Rent, is working in that area right now.
Yes, a gentleman by the name of Wilson, who was the original angel in Rent, is actually playing Rooster in that show.
Awesome. Rooster in Annie.
In Annie, yes.
So people in the area that want to come see that will see the talents behind the scenes of Ryan and his team, and then see Wilson on stage.
Who's a Tony Award winner.
That's awesome. So in addition to the Santa nonprofit work that you do, Santa's kind of gotten techie. Is that correct? Like,
Yeah.
there's ways that people can reach out online.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
So you have your own resource, correct?
Oh, yes.
So if I wanted to write to you and I was a good little girl, where would I write online? What.com?
nationscapitalsanta@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I would get to talk directly to you
Directly to me.
via keyboard.
Yes.
Great.
And the nice and naughty list is all digital now.
Wow.
So I don't have papers galore on my desk. I just log into my iPad and there it is.
That's awesome. That's why you can give so much more of your time throughout the year, because you have gone techie.
And I can take it with me wherever I go.
So you really can keep an eye on everybody.
That is right.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue to focus on being good.
Good.
Is there anything else that you would like to share, Larry, with us about Toys for Tots? I just thought of something I'd like for you to share with us about. In the fall, there is a rumble that goes down Main Street, and it shakes the houses and the businesses as it goes down Main Street. And one time I was on Main, felt it, went out to check to see what was going on. And it was such an amazing sight. And you smiled, so I know you know what I'm talking about. And it basically it's like the major kickoff for Toys for Tots collections each season, from my understanding. But will you tell us a little about that? Because that is such a cool thing.
Ed Sheeter does a nice job for Toys for Tots. He sets up this motorcycle run, and this year was the largest one ever, but there was 401 bikes in this poker run. And then they end up at Eagles, and they raised a nice amount of money for Toys for Tots.
And
he's really good.
And it's neat because they have Toys for Tots signs that they're riding with. There's people with Santa hats on. But I'll tell you what, I love motorcycles, and to feel that vibration of all those engines coming down before they get there.
Sure.
And then you see all these people, and they're out there for the love of children. It's if you haven't seen it, find out when it's happening, go to Main Street and watch this thing, because it is awesome. Because people come from all over the state to be a part of this. It's not just a Hancock County run, correct?
Right.
So
they come from all over.
They come from all over.
Yes.
And they are full of Christmas cheer to kick off the season. And that happens late August, early September, doesn't it?
I think that's the first weekend in September.
Yeah.
Every year.
So
Yes.
it's a neat thing to be a part of, even if you don't have a motorcycle. And the one time I just stood there and cried, because it was just so neat to see all these people already investing in our kids. So thank you so much for your service to country and to community. And today I am wearing a pin that represents the people that are serving in the world right now. And we're saying prayers, and we're hoping that they come home. And I'm wearing this for some of our students today that have been active on campus, and they've been called back to service. They are currently serving in Puerto Rico. And we thank them. We love them very much. We're excited for them to be able to come back to our campus. But you are making a difference in other people's lives too. And we are very thankful for that. We're thankful that you know the second languages, that you are willing to be there for your holidays, and you are making other people's lives brighter by being there and serving. So we thank you for that, and we look forward to you coming back to our home campus. And we know that your families are very proud of you and looking forward to seeing you soon too. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Arts and Culture program. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Santa. It's been fun having you here.
Thank you.
We
Thank
look
you.
forward to you tuning in the next time.